Today we're going to take a look at the Tailor of Gloucester, and this is part 5. So we've been reading the story, and we met the tailor, and we learned that he's having a hard time. He doesn't have any money, he's working hard, and he's tired all the time. He's doing lots of work. And he has a pet cat who tries to go shopping to help him, but the cat's not very happy because the tailor let his mice run away, and the cat wants a snack. But in this story today, we're going to continue forward to see the mice get to work, and maybe we'll get to hear them sing while they work. It's going to get scary. Let's review what we've learned in the story so far, or what's happened so far. So, The Tailor of Gloucester by Beatrix Potter. So the story happened a long time ago when people wore fancy clothing with all these strange names, right? And we met the tailor who his job is to make clothes, but he's very poor. He has no money. But little bits of his fabric, when he's making clothes, the pieces of fabric fall down, and there's not much left, but it's enough for mice to be able to make some clothes. And that's kind of cute. And then the tailor goes home and he's so tired because what he has to do is he needs to make a coat for the mayor of Gloucester. And he needs some special thread for this coat. Okay? And he asks his cat to go shopping. So he sends the cat shopping to find some food, some milk, and some twist. Now, twist is a word that means the thread he needs to make this coat. I think it's for sewing buttons on the coat, or maybe finishing the sleeves. But he needs this twist, and he needs the cat to go shopping. Very cute. And so he was really tired, but then he heard a sound, and he realized under his teacups there was a mouse, and another mouse, and then many, many, many mice. So all of these mice get free. The mice were trapped under the cups, right? But then the mice are really happy because the tailor set them free, right? And then Simpkin, the cat, comes home with milk and bread. And the tailor is not very nice to the cat and says, "Where is my twist?" And so the cat sees that all of the mice are gone. So what does the cat do? Well, the cat did buy that thread, the twist, but he hides it. The cat hid the twist in a teapot, I think. Yeah. And so the tailor, the old man, is all worried. Oh my gosh, my twist. So the cat got it, but he hid it because the old tailor was not very nice and set the mice free. But then, what do you know? The mice might be able to go help the tailor. The tailor is sick and tired, and he doesn't have much time to finish the coat. But maybe the mice can help him. Okay? And so this brings us to where we are in the story. Let's see. Maybe I can read a little bit and then we can get to the new part. So we can start. Let's get my marker. We'll start here, where that blue line is. Okay? Or one above. How about that? So Simpkin hid the twist, and the tailor is all worried and not feeling well. So, for the old poor tailor was very ill with a fever, tossing and turning in his 4-post bed, and still in his dreams he mumbled, "No more twist, no more twist." So he's asleep and still talking about the twist. All that day he was ill, and the next day, and the next. And what should become of the cherry-colored coat? In the tailor's shop in Westgate Street, the embroidered silk and satin lay cut out upon the table, 21 buttonholes. And who should come to sew them when the window was barred and the door was fast locked? So the tailor is sick, and the next day and the next. So for 3 days he's sick. And he's supposed to finish the coat in 4 days. And so the coat is in his shop, but no one's there to work on it. Right? And so the door is locked. No one can go in. But that does not hinder the little brown mice. They run in and out without any keys through all the houses in Gloucester. So the shop is closed, but the mice can go through the door. They don't care. It's okay. So the next part is, this part is mostly about Christmas, so we can read through it, but we are not going to spend a lot of time on it, just so we can get to the mice getting to work, okay? So I'll read it and then I'll summarize, okay? But we're not going to go through word by word. Out of the doors, the market folks went trudging through the snow to buy their geese and turkeys and to bake their Christmas pies. But there would be no Christmas dinner for Simpkin and the poor old Tailor of Gloucester. So many people are outside buying things for Christmas, but Simpkin and the tailor will not have Christmas dinner because they're sick, right? So here, just trudging is walking heavily through the snow, okay? And people are out in the snow buying things for Christmas. Next. The tailor lay ill for 3 days and nights, and then it was Christmas Eve and very late at night. The moon had climbed up over the roofs and chimneys and looked down over the gateway into College Court. There were no lights in the windows, nor any sound in the houses. All the city of Gloucester was fast asleep under the snow. And still Simpkin wanted his mice, and he mewed as he stood beside the 4-post bed. I don't think this section's too difficult, but it's talking about the tailor is sick and time is going by. Okay? Okay. Not a lot that's too hard, so if anything is tricky, please send me a message. Please let me know. But Simpkin, the cat, still wanted his mice, and he mewed as he stood beside the 4-post bed. Just quickly, mewed is like, oh, caps lock, meowed. So meow is what a cat does, past tenses, with ed. And just the old way of writing it would be mewed. He mewed, but we now would say he meowed. Okay? Okay. So then, back to more Christmas. But it is in the old story that all the beasts can talk. In the night between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in the morning, though there are very few folk that can hear them or know what it is that they say. So, people say that at Christmas time, beasts can talk. So animals can talk at that time. Interesting. When the cathedral clock struck 12, there was an answer, like an echo of the chimes. Dong. And Simpkin heard it, and came out of the tailor's door, and wandered about in the snow. A cathedral is a big church, so the big clock struck 12. Dong. It's midnight. Next. From all the roofs and gables and old wooden houses in Gloucester came 1,000 merry voices, singing the old Christmas rhymes. All the old songs that I ever heard of, and some that I don't know, like Whittington's bells. So this is saying that at midnight, the clock bells rang, dong, for midnight. And many people started to sing out their windows. So people are singing Christmas songs. Sorry, not people. It's the beasts. So the beasts are the animals. All the animals are starting to talk. That's an important point. So the animals are starting to talk. First and loudest, the cocks cried out, "Dame, get up and bake your pies." Here, the cocks means the roosters, the chickens, okay? So telling people to wake up. "Oh, dilly dilly, oh, dilly dilly dilly," sighed Timken. Oh my God, I can't speak. "Oh, dilly dilly dilly," sighed Simpkin. So Simpkin's starting to talk. And now in a garret there were lights and sounds of dancing, and cats came away from over the way. Hey diddle diddle, the cat in the fiddle, all the cats in Gloucester except me. This dilly 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 and hey diddle diddle, these are from an old rhyme. Hey diddle diddle, the cat in the fiddle, the fork ran away with the spoon. I forget. Look up hey diddle diddle if you're curious. So all the animals in the town are making noises. Under the wooden eaves, the starlings and sparrows sang of Christmas pies. The jackdaws woke up in the cathedral tower. And although it was the middle of the night, the throstles and robins sang. The air was quite full of little twittering tunes. So this is all the birds, many different types of birds singing different songs. So starlings and sparrows and jackdaws, these are all kinds of birds. Throstles and robins, these are also kinds of birds. The ones you probably should know are, you should know what a robin is and maybe a sparrow. They're little cute birds. Okay? But they're all of these animals are waking up and singing at midnight because of Christmas magic. Okay. Keep going. If you have any questions, let me know. So all of these birds are singing around. But it was all rather provoking to poor, hungry Simpkin. So provoking means like maybe making him angry. Because how does Simpkin feel? Well, Simpkin's a cat. He wants to eat all those birds, I think. So it was all rather provoking to poor, hungry Simpkin. Particularly, he was vexed with some little shrill voices from behind a wooden lattice. I think that they were bats, because they always have very small voices, especially in a black frost, when they talk in their sleep, like the Tailor of Gloucester. So we said before that vexed means bothered. So he was vexed with little shrill voices, like really high-pitched voices. from behind a wall or some piece of wood. And he thinks they're bats. Okay? They said something mysterious that sounded like, "Buzz, quoth the blue fly, hum, quoth the bee. Buzz and hum they cry, and so do we." So this must be an old rhyme, but I don't really know it. So don't worry about it. And Simpkin went away, shaking his ears as if he had a bee in his bonnet. So Simpkin is going, "Ugh," and walking away from this mysterious rhyme. It's mysterious to me too. I've never heard it before. But don't worry about it. Let's keep on going. Because I want to get to the exciting part. So the whole town is waking up and all of these animals are making sounds. And they're all talking. And then we get to the tailor's shop. And what's happening here? So, from the tailor's shop in Westgate came a glow of light. And when Simpkin crept up to peep in at the window, it was full of candles. There was a snippeting of scissors, a snappeting of thread, and little mouse voices sang loudly and gaily. Okay, before I get into the singing part. So there was a glow. Now we'll go a little bit slower. We can actually talk about what's going on. There was a glow of light. Glow just means the light is coming out. And it's kind of, glow is like a soft light. Okay? And maybe it seems nice inside. And when Simpkin crept up to peep in at the window, it was full of candles. So that's a surprise. So Simpkin crept up. Crept up is the past tense of creep. To creep is to move slowly and you're being sneaky. So a thief might creep in the bank or something. So Simpkin creeped up to peep in at the window. So to peep, we said before, is to look kind of sneakily, like you're trying to be quiet. You don't want someone to see you. You peep in, okay? So he crept up to peep in at the window. It was full of candles. I feel like there should be a period here. I don't know. Maybe it's an old style, but there should be a period there if it's modern English, okay? And the capital I, right? It was full of candles. And it was full of candles. Then there was a snippeting of scissors and a snappeting of thread. Now, these are old ways to say it, but we can learn the new way. The new way is snip and snap. Now, these words are onomatopoeia. They're sound words. Snip, snip, snip. The snipping of scissors. Snip is the action when you cut something. Snip. But you can use it, snip, the sound like it's something you do. And then the snappeting of thread. Now we would just say snap or snapping. Snap, snap. So that's the sound of thread breaking. Okay? So snip, snap. The snippeting of scissors, the snappening of thread. And little voices sang loudly and gaily. Now, this is something that's interesting and shows the way that language changes. This word gaily is the adverb of gay. And you probably know this word. It's not a bad word. It just means, well, now in modern times, gay means homosexual, usually. But the old meaning of gay, or the original meaning of gay, was happy. And so the mice are singing loudly and gaily, meaning they're singing loudly and happily. And so in a lot of old stories, people will use the word gay, and that just means very happy. Back 50 years or 100 years ago, it didn't have the meaning of homosexuality that it has now. So people don't use it this way anymore, or very rarely. Usually it's only to mean homosexual. But old stories will say, oh, that he was very gay. But that means he was very happy. So if you're reading an old story, don't be surprised. Okay. So the little mouse voices sang loudly and gaily. I'm not going to sing. My throat's getting a little bit tired, so we'll just read it. 24 tailors went to catch a snail. The best man amongst them durst not touch her tail. She put out her horns like a little Kylo cow. Run, tailors, run, or she'll have you all e'en now. Okay, this is tricky for me too. Okay, 24 tailors. Well, that's a tricky... This is going to be tricky because it's a song. But 4 and 20 means 24. Just flip it around. It's an old way of saying 24. 24, 4 and 20. Went to catch a snail. A snail is a little animal that has a big shell. Dur, 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 dur. A cute snail. I hope it's cute. So 24 tailors went to catch a snail. Durst not to touch her tail. This is not a common word, but this is like don't dare. Like they don't want to do it. They're too afraid to touch it. This is super old. Before I read this book, I didn't know this word. Nobody says durst. Let me double check. The past of dare. Okay, anyways, it's dare, but like a very, very old way. Oh yeah, it's what did I just say? I'm going crazy. It says durst not, so that's they didn't dare. They weren't brave enough. They didn't want to. Anyways, my point is it's so old that you don't need to know it. I don't even know it. I'm confused too. Okay. She put out her horns like a little Kylo cow. I don't remember what a Kylo cow is, but it's a kind of cow. That's okay. Nobody knows this. Before I read this, I didn't see Kylo before. But anyways, sometimes when you're reading a book like this, it's a little Kylo cow. Okay. All you need to know is Kylo is some kind of cow, right? So the snail put out her horns like a cow. That's kind of funny. The snail has horns. Junk, 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 junk. Run, tailors, run, or she'll have you all e'en now. Now, this is something you might see in an old story. That's even. Like, even now, e'en now. Just like saying it fast. Okay. But we don't need to get into too much about the song. It's just a silly song that mice are singing, and they're singing about tailors touching snails. That's kind of weird. Okay. And then, without a pause, the little mouse voices went on again. Sieve my lady's oatmeal, grind my lady's flour, put it in a chestnut, let it stand an hour. So, oatmeal is a kind of food. It's a grain, and they say sieve my oatmeal. So a sieve is a flat thing. Well, let's see. Usually it's this shape. Whatever. Here we go. That's better. So it's a round thing, and then it might have a handle on the side, and you can put flour or something like a powder inside, and then you can shake it, and the powder will come out the bottom in little pieces. Okay? So on the bottom of the sieve, there's a web that will break it into little pieces. So you usually sieve flour. So the flour goes in the top and it comes out the bottom in tiny little bits. Okay? But here they sieve my lady's oatmeal. So put the oatmeal in the top, and then it's broken into little pieces. Okay, anyways, just a song. Grind my lady's flour. To grind something means to rub it and break it into pieces. This is a common word you should know. We often use this to talk about grinding coffee. You grind coffee, and then after it's broken into pieces, it's called ground coffee. So, verb is grind, and then the noun is ground coffee. Okay? That's you. The coffee is ground into bits. Ground is the past tense of grind. Okay. Grind my lady's flour. So take flour and grind it. Put it in a chestnut. It's a kind of chestnut. Let it stand an hour. Here, when you're cooking, stand is a word meaning let it sit. Sit still is what stand means when you're looking at a recipe. Okay? But again, they're singing songs, and this song is about cooking. So sieve my lady's oatmeal, grind my lady's flour, put it in a chestnut, let it stand an hour. Okay. And so the mice are singing their cute songs. And then here comes Simpkin. See, there he is. The cat is looking in at the mice. Meow, meow, interrupted Simpkin, and he scratched at the door. But the key was under the tailor's pillow. He could not get in. So, again, mew is the old way of writing meow. People write M-E-O-W now. Okay, there we go. And Simpkin interrupted them. To interrupt someone, this is an important word to remember. Interrupt means someone is doing something and then you stop them. You cut them off. So if someone's talking, then you suddenly start talking. You interrupt that person. So Simpkin interrupted the mice. Here, this word is kind of like said. So mew mew, said Simpkin. But because he's interrupting their singing, it says mew mew, interrupted Simpkin. Does that make sense? And then he scratched at the door. And the key's under the tailor's pillow. He couldn't get in. The little mice only laughed, ha ha ha, and tried another tune. 3 little mice sat down to spin. Pussy passed by and she peeped in. What are you at? What are you at, my fine little men? Making coats for gentlemen. Shall I come in and cut off your threads? Oh no, Miss Pussy, you'd bite off our heads. Okay, so now we get to a song that is connected to the story. 3 little mice sat down to spin. Now, to spin means to spin a thread. Remember, a thread is the string you use to make clothes. To spin a thread is you turn it. And that could be making a thread. Like if you have wool from a sheep, the hair from a sheep, it's called wool. If you spin it, and then it makes a thread. So the wool has to get turned many times to become thread. So 3 little mice sat down to spin. Maybe they're making thread or using thread. Pussy passed by. Now, here, pussy is another way to say the cat. There are other not very appropriate meanings of this word, but in the story, it just means the cat. Back 100 years ago, this word only meant cat. So don't worry about it. So the pussy passed by and she peeped in. They're talking about Simpkin looked into the shop. What are you at, my fine little men? So they're singing what the cat might say. What are you at? That's a kind of interesting sentence, right? But what do you think what's the regular way to say that? Well, we'd say, what are you doing? Okay? What are you doing? Is the modern way to say this. Like, it's kind of an old-fashioned way to say, like, instead of working on something, they might say working at something. I'm working on a project. I'm working at a project. Okay? So what are you at, my fine little men? What are you doing? What are you working on? Making coats for gentlemen. Okay. Should be easy. Shall I come in and cut off your threads? So here, shall is the same as should. Americans don't use the word shall, but British people use it a lot. Shall I come in? Should I come in? And cut off your threads. Remember, threads means the string, so the cat is asking, should I come in and help you cut your threads? And then the mice say, oh no, Miss Pussy, you'd bite off our heads. So the cat says, oh, can I cut off your threads? It's like, no, we don't believe you. You'd bite off our heads. Okay. So they're kind of teasing the cat, saying, you can't come in. We know you don't want to help us. You just want to eat us. And then, mew mew, cried Simpkin. Hey diddle dickety, answered the little mice. Okay. So, like I said before, hey diddle diddle is an old rhyme. Hey diddle dickety, maybe this is a different rhyme that I didn't learn when I was growing up. So, hey diddle dickety, poppity pet. The merchants of London, they wear scarlet, silk in the collar and gold in the hem. So merrily march the merchant men. So this is just talking about people walking through London. Hey diddle dickety poppity pet. That means nothing. They just say it for fun. So don't worry about that. Some rhymes just have silly words. The merchants of London, they wear scarlet. Scarlet is a kind of red. It's a kind of red. Now, you're asking the wrong person. I'm a little bit colorblind, so I know scarlet is red, but I don't know what kind of red it is. I think it's kind of a dark red, but I'm not sure. You can Google scarlet. Silk in the collar. Silk is a kind of thread, and this is the collar, right? The neck of your shirt. And gold in the hem. The hem is, I think it's the seam. I should check for you first. I'll do it here. Hem. Define hem. The edge of a piece of clothing that has been turned under and sewn. Okay. Yeah, so that's this seam of the shirt. It's the edge of the cloth that they turn it and then sew it together. Okay? Phew. Careful. Oh, let's look at scarlet while we're here. Scarlet. Scarlet is a brilliant red color. Brilliant meaning like bright and vivid. Vivid. Sorry. Scarlet. Not scarlet fever. Scarlet fever is a sickness. We just want the color. Okay. So merrily march the merchant men. So the merchants of London wear scarlet, silk, and gold, and so merrily march the merchant men. Meaning, here the word so is just like, in that way, they do this. So merrily march. Merrily is another way to say happily. You probably know Merry Christmas is another way to say Happy Christmas. Okay? Okay. Let's see. Maybe do one more piece and then we can stop for tonight because my throat is getting tired. Let's see. Where are we? Oh, oh, thank you. Hem is xiaokou or xiaba. Is that? Xiaba is your chin. Sorry. My tones are bad. Ooh, is my internet still working? Well, my dictionary is not working. Okay, anyways, let's focus on the story. Thank you for looking up the word hem for me. Okay. So, back to the mice making some clothes. They're sewing and working on the clothes. They clicked their, well, right here. They clicked their thimbles to mark the time, but none of the songs pleased Simpkin. He sniffed and mewed at the door of the shop. So, Simpkin is not happy. Here, the they is the mice. They clicked their thimbles to mark the time. A thimble is a little metal thing that goes on your thumb. Let's go back to using pictures to help. A thimble is this thing. It's for sewing and making clothes. You put a thimble on your finger or on your thumb to protect you from getting poked by a needle and thread. Okay? So they click to their thimbles. Click, click, click to mark the time. So maybe every second. Tick, tick, tick. mark the time of the music. So it could be part of the song. Tick, 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 tick. Okay? But none of the songs pleased Simpkin. So the mice are singing, but Simpkin is not happy. Oh, you're working in clothing? That's great. Well, thank you for sharing. Cool. So yeah, if you know some of this vocabulary, that's great. We should have asked you about some of the fabrics that I didn't know in part 1. Those were some tricky things, like taffeta. I still don't know what taffeta is, but cool. I hope this story is useful for you. So they clicked, back to the story. They clicked their thimbles to mark the time. Tick, tick, tick. But none of the songs pleased Simpkin. So Simpkin's not happy about the music. He sniffed and mewed, meow, at the door of the shop. And then the mice sing. And then I bought a pipkin and a popkin, a slipkin and a slopkin, all for 1 farthing. And upon the kitchen dresser, added the rude little mice. Okay, so we learned last time that a pipkin is kind of like a little dish. So pipkin and popkin, slipkin and slopkin, maybe they're little dishes too, but I don't know. Let's not worry about it. A lot of old songs just make silly words just because they sound like the first one. Pipkin. Oh, now I have to look. We have to look, right? Popkin. Oh, I'm afraid of... Oh, that's not... Like I said, definitely not what we want. Let's not just Google things. That's dangerous. So, pipkin is the thing we know, and we can assume that popkin and slipkin and slopkin are just kind of like funny words that people use in old rhymes. And all for 1 farthing. A farthing is a small piece of British money. British money. Oops, sorry, I got startled. My sock got stuck. Anyways, Kyle just says taffeta. Yeah, taffeta is that one of those weird fabrics. I don't even know what it is. Okay. Let's see. Let's finish this part and then we will stop because I'm starting to lose my mind and say weird things. I'm too tired, I guess. Sorry. Okay. The mice are singing and Simpkin is angry. Mew! Scratch, scratch! Scruffled Simpkin on the windowsill, while the little mice inside sprang to their feet and all began to shout at once in little twittering voices. So, Simpkin's at the window. Mew! Scratch, scratch! Mew is meow. Scratch is when he uses his claws on the window. So, scuffled Simpkin on the windowsill. So he's jumping and moving around on the windowsill. The little mice inside sprang to their feet. Sprang to their feet means jumped to their feet. And all began to shout at once in little twittering voices. So all the mice are shouting together, and their voices are twittering, meaning they're really small and high-pitched. Beep, 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 beep. No more twist! No more twist! So all the mice are saying, no more twist! No more twist! Twist is that thread the old man wants. And they barred up the window shutters and shut out Simpkin. So Simpkin was at the window, but now the mice barred up the window shutters. So on a window, there are wooden parts on the outside, and to bar them up means to close them and lock them. So the mice close the windows so Simpkin can't look inside anymore. They want the cat to go away. And then, so Simpkin's outside, the mice are inside. But still, through the nicks in the shutters, he could hear the click of thimbles and little mouse voices singing, "No more twist, no more twist." So here the word nicks means cracks. Come on. Let's see. Window shutters. Window shutters look like this. So, like this one. These are shutters on the side of the window, and so the mice close the shutters. There's still little cracks, okay? And so through the nicks in the shutters, Simpkin could hear the click of thimbles. Click, 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 click. And the little mouse voices singing, "No more twist." Okay, so let's stop here. The mice are in the shop working and working and working, and they're singing, and Simpkin wants to eat them, but the mice just want to help the tailor make his coat. So, we got through quite a bit of the story. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you learned something new, and learn some strategy about how to deal with some old stories. Sometimes there are tricky words in there, but you don't need to know everything, especially if it's a song. You can kind of go past it a little bit, just because who cares what a pipkin and a slipkin are? It's just part of a song. The most important part is, hey, they're singing and having a good time. But yeah, so I hope you had a good time. Let's stop here for today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And if you have any questions, leave me a comment, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.